there, my amazing English learners. Welcome back to Quick Learn Podcast with Hazel. I'm so happy you're here with me today. Maybe you're walking your dog, lying in bed, or taking a break from studying. Wherever you are, thank you for tuning in. You're exactly where you're meant to be right now. Today's topic is something many of us struggle with every single day: overthinking. Yes, that little voice in your head that just won't stop. It goes in circles. It keeps you up at night. It makes small things feel big. And sometimes it makes life harder than it needs to be. Let me ask you something. Have you ever made a decision and then doubted yourself 10 minutes later? Or replayed a conversation over and over in your head thinking, why did I say that? What if they misunderstood me? If yes, you're not alone. Today we're going to explore overthinking, what it is, why it happens, and how to stop it. All in simple English, with useful vocabulary, real stories, and practical tips. So take a deep breath, and let's begin. What is overthinking? Overthinking means thinking too much, especially about problems, mistakes, or decisions. It's like your mind is stuck in a loop. Instead of solving the problem, you keep worrying about it. And the more you think, the worse you feel. Important note, overthinking is not about being smart. It's about being stuck. Let's learn a phrase: paralysis by analysis. It means you think so much, you can't make a decision. Example, John couldn't choose a restaurant. He was stuck in paralysis by analysis. Let me tell you a story. There was a girl named Aisha. She was offered a job in another city. It paid well. It had great benefits. But for 2 weeks, Aisha couldn't decide. What if I don't like it? What if I fail? What if I regret leaving? She made pro-con lists. She asked everyone for advice. She even dreamed about it. In the end, she didn't take the job, not because it was wrong, but because she overthought it. Until fear won. Later, she said, I wasn't afraid of the job. I was afraid of making the wrong choice. Why do we overthink? Let's break it down together. First, fear of the unknown. Our brains are wired to protect us. They want control, certainty, and clear answers. But life isn't always clear, is it? So when we don't know what's going to happen, like before a job interview or waiting for a text back or making a big decision, our mind starts racing. What if it goes wrong? What if they don't like me? What if I mess up? Sound familiar? That's your brain trying to fill in the blanks. It hates not knowing. So it creates all these what-if scenarios to feel prepared, but instead, it just leaves us feeling more anxious. Then there's the fear of failure. We want to do everything right, no mistakes, no regrets. But here's the problem. When you try to be perfect all the time, you start overthinking every little choice. You might spend hours just trying to write one email or make a small decision because deep down, you're afraid of making the wrong move. And the truth is, nobody gets everything right. Mistakes are part of learning, but overthinking tricks you into believing that if you think hard enough, you'll avoid all failure. Spoiler alert, you won't, and that's okay. Another big reason? Low self-confidence. When you don't trust yourself, every decision feels scary. You second guess. You ask 10 people for advice. You replay conversations in your head. You think, was I too rude? Should I have said something else? Did I do it wrong? And instead of moving forward, you stay stuck. It's like driving with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake. You're trying, but not going anywhere. And finally, trying to please everyone. Let's be honest, we all care about what others think. That's human. But if you're constantly worried about how people will react, you'll find yourself overthinking every word, every post, every outfit, every choice. What will they think if I say this? Will they be mad if I don't reply right away? Will they still like me if I say no? The truth is, you can't make everyone happy. And trying to do that, it'll exhaust you. So if you've ever felt your mind spinning with all these thoughts, you're not crazy. You're not alone. You're just overthinking. And the good news? You can learn to manage it. Let's learn some vocabulary. Overthink, to think too much about something. Example, she tends to overthink everything before making a decision. Loop, something that repeats over and over. Example, his thoughts were stuck in a loop of worry, self-doubt, not believing in your own abilities. Example, overthinking often comes from self-doubt, procrastination, delaying something because you can't decide. Example, her overthinking led to procrastination. Let go, to release a thought or feeling. Example, sometimes you just need to let go and move on. Why is overthinking a problem? Let's talk about it. Overthinking might seem harmless at first. You're just being careful, right? But the truth is, it steals from you. It steals your time, hours that you could have spent living, laughing, creating memories. It steals your peace. You feel tense, restless, like you can't breathe properly. And worst of all, it creates stress over things that haven't even happened yet. You're living out problems in your mind that don't even exist. It's like running a marathon, but going nowhere. Let's look closer at what overthinking can actually cause. First, anxiety. When your brain is constantly worrying, you start feeling nervous all the time. Even small things like choosing what to wear or what to say in a meeting can feel overwhelming. You might get this tight feeling in your chest, sweaty palms, racing thoughts. That's anxiety creeping in, fed by overthinking. Then there's insomnia. Have you ever laid in bed, desperate for sleep, but your mind just refuses to turn off? You replay conversations, imagine worst-case scenarios, plan tomorrow's to-do list over and over. Before you know it, it's 3 a.m., and you're still wide awake, exhausted but wired. That's what overthinking does. It robs you of rest. It also leads to missed opportunities. Maybe you've heard stories like Aisha's. She wanted to take a new job, move to a new city, or say yes to an exciting relationship. But she said no. Not because she didn't want those things, but because fear held her back. Overthinking makes you freeze. It convinces you that it's safer to stay where you are, even if it means missing out on something wonderful. And finally, physical health problems. Stress doesn't just stay in your mind. It shows up in your body too. Headaches, constant fatigue, stomach issues, even muscle tension. Your body is carrying the weight of all those racing thoughts. Overthinking doesn't just feel bad. It is bad for your mind, your heart, your opportunities, and even your health. But the good news is, you don't have to stay stuck there. You can learn to slow it down. You can reclaim your time, your peace, and your life. Let's learn some expressions. Don't cross the bridge before you get to it. Means, don't worry about problems that haven't happened yet. Let it be. Means, stop trying to control everything. Allow things to happen naturally. It is what it is. Means, accept things as they are, instead of overthinking them. How can you overcome overthinking? If you've ever felt trapped in your own mind, spinning in circles, you're not alone. But the good news is, you can break free. Let's talk about some simple, practical ways to calm that noisy brain of yours. First, write it down. When your thoughts feel too loud and messy, don't just let them bounce around inside your head. Grab a notebook or open a notes app. Write down exactly what you're thinking. Sometimes just seeing the words on paper makes them feel less overwhelming. You might even realize, hey, this isn't as big and scary as it felt inside my mind. Another trick? Set a timer for thinking. This might sound strange, but it works. Give yourself permission to worry for a set amount of time, maybe 10 minutes. During those 10 minutes, you can worry, plan, question, whatever you want. But when the timer goes off, you move on. You stop. It trains your brain to realize, hey, we don't have to stay stuck here all day. Take action, even a small one. The truth is, action is the enemy of overthinking. When you move, when you do something, your brain has less room to spiral. It doesn't have to be a huge leap, just one small step. Send the email, make the phone call, organize the messy desk. Action creates clarity. It gives you back your power. Practice mindfulness. Overthinking pulls you into a million imaginary futures or past regrets. Mindfulness pulls you back into right now. You can start small. Just focus on your breathing for a minute. Feel your feet on the ground. Listen to a calming song. There are apps that can help, or you can simply close your eyes and breathe. The goal is to remind yourself, I am here. I am safe. I am okay. Talk it out. Sometimes just saying what's in your head helps untangle the mess. Call a friend, talk to a family member, and honestly, it's even okay to talk to yourself. Say it out loud. Hear your own voice. You'll often notice your thoughts sound a lot more manageable once they're spoken. And finally, stop aiming for perfect. Perfection is a trap. It's this shiny, impossible thing that keeps you stuck. The truth is, good enough is often exactly what you need. You don't have to have the perfect answer, the perfect plan, or the perfect timing. You just have to move forward, one imperfect step at a time. Overthinking won't disappear overnight, but with practice, with patience, you can quiet the noise and find your way back to peace. Let's practice some phrases. I don't need to figure it all out right now. I trust myself to make the right decision. I can handle whatever comes. My thoughts are not facts. I choose peace over worry. Let's be real. Sometimes we make overthinking worse without even realizing it. So if you're trying to break the habit, here are a few things you shouldn't do. First, don't try to control everything. It's tempting, right? To plan for every outcome, to try and predict every possible problem before it happens. But life doesn't work that way. Trying to control every little detail only creates more pressure, more anxiety, and more overthinking. Sometimes you just have to let go a little and trust that things will unfold, even if they're not perfect. Don't ask 10 different people for advice. We all do it. We think, maybe someone else has the answer I need. But the more opinions you collect, the more confusing it becomes. One person says, go left, another says, go right, and suddenly you're stuck in the middle, paralyzed. It's okay to ask for support, but limit it to 1 or 2 people you truly trust. And most importantly, learn to trust yourself too. Don't wait for 100% certainty. Here's a secret. Certainty is rare. If you're waiting to feel completely sure before you make a move, you might be waiting forever. Most decisions in life come with a bit of doubt. That's normal. It doesn't mean it's the wrong choice. It just means you're human. And lastly, don't punish yourself for overthinking. We all do it from time to time. So if you catch yourself spiraling, don't beat yourself up. Don't call yourself weak or broken. Just notice it. Pause, breathe, and gently guide yourself back to a better thought. Be kind to yourself. You're learning, you're growing. That's enough. Let's finish with this. Your mind is powerful, but you are more powerful. You don't have to believe every thought you think. You don't have to solve every problem today. You are allowed to pause, breathe, and take things one step at a time. Remember, you're not failing. You're learning. You're not lost. You're growing. And you are not alone, ever. Your challenge for this week. Each time you catch yourself overthinking, pause. Take one deep breath. Say this: I trust myself. Write down the thought that keeps repeating, and then write down one small action you can take. At the end of the week, look back and see how far you've come. Thank you for listening to this episode of Quick Learn Podcast with Hazel. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. Tell me, what do you overthink about the most, and how do you deal with it? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who might need it. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and always keep shining.